So what we want, first thing you're going to do is open the first picture in your sequence. So it's kind of dark, and I just did a demo, just kind of like you. So I hired a student to just kind of walk up the stairs. Okay. So as I said before, our picture is going to be way too large. This is an animated GIF, so basically that means it's for the web. So we've got to tone it down a little bit, otherwise, number one, it'll be too hard for our computers to handle. Two, it'll take way too long for it to load through the internet. So we want to scale it down a little bit. So go to image and then image size, and like 48 inches, that's huge. So we want to turn that down to say like 12, somewhere around there. Okay, 12 by 18, 18 by 12, something like that, depending what your orientation is. And then hit OK. And it's going to look small, but don't worry, we can always zoom in a little bit. So once I've got my first frame, okay, I just want to start adding the next frames in the sequence. So I'm just going to go File, Place, and then I'll get the next picture. And it should adjust it to the size that I just resized the first one just fine. And then hit the check mark. And then I'll do the next one. So I'll do about 5 for you, and then you'll get the idea. You should probably have about, I would say, 10. Okay. So there's my objects in sequence. So the next thing I need to do is, down here at the bottom, I need to have a little bar. And that little bar is our animation window. So I'm going to click on Window, and I'm going to click on Animation. So that will open this up down here. And so this is how many frames I'm going to have. So basically, however many layers I have over here is how many frames I want on the bottom. So, and in each frame I can decide which layer I would like to be seen. So for example, my first frame, I want just my first layer to be visible. Okay? So then I'm going to create some more frames down on the bottom. So to create more frames at the bottom here, I'm going to click on this little button right beside the trash can. So I have 5 layers, so I want 5 frames. And so then I'm just going to go through. So on my second frame, I just want my second layer visible. On my third frame, I want my third layer visible. Fourth layer, and fifth layer. And so this is kind of what you would see. And so I'll have Jen do it, and you'll see her go really, really fast. See how important it is to keep the background stable? I was just holding it, doing it. But that'll send someone into epileptic seizure. So each frame you can see right here I've got at 0 seconds. So you can click on that little arrow here. You can decide how long you want it to be on each frame. I'm going to go with 0.2, and then you can see what 0.2 looks like. Half a second is maybe a bit too long. So here's what it looks like. I'll show you what half a second looks like. But it depends on what you're trying, what kind of mood you're trying to portray, what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So that's half a second. If you don't like half a second, you don't like 0.2 of a second, you want like 0.3 or 0.4, not a problem. All you you have to do is just click on Other, and then you can specify how long you want it to be on each second. Okay, so I'm going to go back to point 2. And then what I'll do is, just like everything else, I'm going to save this as a PSD. And that's going to save it as, it's going to have both the animation window here at the bottom, plus it's going to maintain my layers. So I would save this as a PSD. So in case something does happen, I can just open up the PSD again. And once I'm done, I can export it so that it's going to be able to play on a web browser. So then I will go to File and Save for Web. So not Save As, you want to go to Save for Web. And right here where it says 100%, I'm going to go Fit on Screen. And I can just play it in here again. So when I'm ready, it's going to be saving it as a GIF. So I'm just going to hit Save. And I'll save it to my desktop. And I'm done. Okay? So that will create your animated GIF. And so when you double click on that, it'll just open it up in a web browser, and away you go. Now we can get really specific with our animated GIF in that this little button right here, I can click 2 frames, and then I can add like a transition. And I can add frame, how many frames I want in between. I don't know, maybe I want like 6. And between my layers, so between my selected layers, these 2 layers, it'll add 6 frames in between, where this first frame will start to fade out, and then the second frame will start to fade in. So maybe I want just opacity. So it'll, here, obviously I didn't do it right. So it'll fade out. You can see it starting to fade out, the first one. Okay. So let's get rid of those. Hold those 2 down. Oh, maybe I should go like this. And then I'll add my, I want 6 with my selected layers. Opacity. There we go. So the first one fades out, and then the new one fades in. So it just adds a little bit of a different dimension to them. So if you want to try playing with that a little bit. Okay? But you really don't need the transition. Most people don't really like it very much. Okay, so any questions? So try it out with the one that you just, your trial one, and then we can start to make our real one when we're done. Okay, go give it a shot.